And thank you for staying with us at 20 away from the top of the hour with our guest, psychiatrist Dr. Frances Cress-Welsing. And Dr. Welsing, well, let you finish responding to Mike's question. You're saying that the problem starts in the schools.
Well, see, I'm just trying to say that we can teach our children at home. If we saw it's our responsibility to give lessons in history to our children. Now, it takes a whole lot of money to build a school and maintain a school, and people who don't have jobs don't have a whole lot of money to do that. But they can think about what it is that I'm going to teach my child before they leave my house. What is it that I'm going to teach them about respecting themselves and valuing themselves and valuing their skin color and valuing their hair texture? Am I going to teach them that, or am I going to have them listen to music that demeans dark skin color? See, what am I educating my child to believe by the kind of so-called music and language that I have radiating in my home, that the system of racism wants me to teach them to demean black? You see, or it could be a little baby who doesn't even go to school and somebody is calling him a name or calling her a name because their skin color is dark. Instead of, we ought to be saying most black is most beautiful. That's the parent color from which all of the colors come. So and again, we have to understand the system. We have to understand the programming that the system takes us through. We have to understand when we turn on that TV in the morning to get the news and to get the weather, that we're seeing white, 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 white. And those white, 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 clowning black person, white, 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 overweight black person, white, 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 white. That's our morning daily dose of racism, white supremacy, love white, hate ourselves. And so if we begin to understand it, then we know how to play the black side of the chessboard. You don't even have to turn off the TV. You can limit it, the amount of TV that you look at. But you understand in a system of racism, white supremacy, the television, the videos, the movies teach racism, white supremacy. Help the children understand that. But by valuing the children and not calling the children names and not yelling at them and beating them because we're frustrated, and this is why I say that teaching a child happens before the sperm meets the egg. Either I'm playing or I'm engaged in very serious, self-respecting activity. The system of racism teaches sex is dirty because they don't like the way they look. And we just follow along blindly, going into our destruction. But I'm saying we have to pull back and say, hey, what is happening? That's the question that black people raise when they greet each other. Hey, what's happening? What's happening? And we ask it repeatedly because we haven't yet fully understood what's going on. But we can understand. And we can teach ourselves to understand the system and how to counter this system of destruction by not being the willing participants. See, each time we hate black, we are willing participants in the maintenance of the system of racism, white supremacy. And so we have to reach a point where we do a lot of reading and do a lot of thinking and do a lot of serious talking with one another and helping each other understand what the system is about. It's not going to change itself if it's a system for white survival, but we can change our participation in it. Because simply if black people begin to respect themselves, that would be making the system collapse. The system has to have The non-white global majority hating each other and willing to fight and kill each other. That's what helps hold the system up. And if we decided, no, this is not what we're going to do, we're going to value ourselves, we're going to respect ourselves, we're going to teach our children to value and respect themselves as black. Like we got a lot of little children running around, I'm not black, I'm mixed race. Where do they learn that? See, do they learn that from parents who have been brainwashed by the system of racism, white supremacy? And so if I'm a little child and I don't like black, well, then if somebody gives me a gun, I can kill black because I don't like black, as opposed to the children having been taught based on what they see happening around them. Little children are captive in the households. They can't get a suitcase and say, I'm going to go someplace where black people respect each other. No, they're caught right there in that atmosphere, and either the atmosphere is respecting black, being respectful and courteous, and that's where those behaviors that Neely Fuller first talked about not name-calling one another and not squabbling with one another, not cursing one another. Stop being discourteous and disrespectful. Stop fighting and stop killing. Just imagine if black people codified themselves into counter-racism and just practiced those top 10 behaviors. Where would we be as a people if black people, no, black people, we don't kill each other. No, we don't fight with each other. Oh, no, that was a long time ago before we understood what was really happening. No, we don't do that anymore. And I add to that list, stop throwing down trash where black people live, work, and play. Stop making dirt and filth the norm. Because if you make trash, you'll think of yourself as trash. Stop using and selling drugs to one another. Stop black children from thinking that as children they can be adequate mothers and fathers. Stop believing that welfare will save you. Start believing in prosperity. Stop pretending that racism, white supremacy does not exist. Stop being divided and conquered. Stop allowing black, brown, red, and yellow people being divided by white supremacy. And Carl, I want to say this about, the people who have called in, not today, but on past occasions, and saying that white supremacy does not exist. Supremacy is who has the ability to kill whom with impunity.